Hello, welcome back to today's episode on Evolve. I'm your host, Olufunmilayo Oloyede. I want to share a story with us, one that taught me so much about the sovereignty of God. And now His grace can turn even our roughest days into stepping stones for destiny. A time ago, I got an offer to step up as the assistant worship leader in my church. An opportunity to do more for God, not just spiritually, but also practically. It felt like God was opening a new chapter, which He did. The day I was scheduled for the interview, I woke up excited, but unknowingly, completely unprepared for the drama that was waiting for me. When I stepped into my workroom that morning, the smell hit me bad. The floor was soaked. Dirty water had seeped in from my neighbors upstairs, who were renovating their bathroom. Apparently, water had been dripping down without me knowing, and it all accumulated in my workroom. The painful part was my wardrobe was just right there, filled with bags of clothes, including clients' fabrics, the materials that we use in making clothes. When I opened the wardrobe, I realized some of the clothes had been completely damaged. 2 whole bags were ruined, and everything smelled very awful. Oh my God, I was frustrated. I was angry at my neighbors for not notifying me. I was upset that I had to deal with this mess on such an important day. I started dragging bags out, trying to salvage what I could, but time was slipping away. I looked at the clock. It was almost 9 a.m. and my interview was about to start. So I dashed out of the house, upset, disorganized, and definitely I was not in the best frame of mind. By the time I got to the church office, I was angry with myself because I was almost late. And honestly, I didn't even have a moment to pull myself together before they called me in. During the interview, I was asked to write an essay on the atmosphere of worship. Good. But because I was so unsettled, my handwriting was wobbly, as in completely a mess. So I managed through, submitted my essay, went outside to the reception to wait for the next interview, and that was to wait for the oral interview. At one point while they were packing those papers together, I could hear one of the officials laughing and say, "Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Whose handwriting is this?" Because I didn't even remember to put my name. I didn't put my name. They began to search, whose handwriting is this? Who wrote this? Who wrote, But they had no idea what my money had been like. I felt embarrassed. But I just pressed through, gave my answers, and left everything. I went back home. The beautiful thing is that despite all the chaos, despite my rough morning, despite the mess of my writing, I was given the offer. That day taught me something powerful, that the goodness of God is not limited by the smoothness of our process, God's sovereignty means that even when things look disorganized, His will can still prevail. Sometimes we think that a bad start means a bad outcome. But God does not work like that. Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. It was not by my performance that got me the offer. It was simply by grace. And I believe God allowed that whole experience to remind me, or maybe to remind you today, that it is not by power nor by might, but by the Spirit of God. So, in case you are in a season where things feel chaotic, maybe the dirty water has seeped into your soul, your life, unexpected problems, disappointment, delays, betrayal. Let this be an encouragement that a rough morning does not cancel God's plan for your day. The fact that you have a rough morning, you have a rough beginning, or a messy process does not disqualify you from God's promises. So at the end of the day, the sovereignty of God always has the final say. And when He says yes, no amount of chaos can turn it into a no. No amount. So breathe. Rest. As in, rest. Call yourself back and tell yourself, Fumi, mention your name. Rest. Trust Him, because truly all things are working together for your good. If this story blessed you, share it with someone who may need this encouragement, and remember that it is all by grace. Till I come your way next time, I remain your host.